have we been able to monetize engagement with sales? Is there any kind of correlation?
Serena, she is our director of, I want to say, I don't know her title. It's director of digital, basically, at Business Wire. Last year, when she came back to Business Wire, she basically went content crazy. And just her and Joanne, she was formerly with Business Wire, they put out a ton of content. No one writes about Business Wire. If you search us, it's everyone else's news. So trying to generate information and content about us was pretty difficult. And so, so what she did is she just created a bunch of buzz on her own. Through that, just kind of, where I'm going with this now, it's kind of veering off.
Well, we're talking about engagement and sales. How do we measure that?
I guess for us, again, coming through, she's kind of on the marketing side with visual as well. Creating that buzz on her own through the department, obviously, for Business Wire, translated into brand engagement. And Business Wire, again, became relevant. This industry is pretty ancient, so with PR, it's very traditional, I would say, in the digital space. And so through that, with PR, you're not immediately sometimes going to see that payoff. And so it's just sticking out through the long haul. And after last year, I mean, she did a bunch of stuff like this and getting the word out. So I think that's kind of where the dividends pay off, is when you put that foot forward and are just proactive.
One of the things, at Sprint, our wireless is intensely competitive. And, we're all about, making a sale. And so this is an incredibly important question to us. And one way that we were very successful is by doing an integrated campaign. And what we did, and what that meant, is that we were offering DirecTV customers, AT&T Direct customers, a full year of Sprint free, right? And so in order to get that message out, we did everything. We did Twitter, we did Facebook, we did a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal. And that proved to be very successful. And it's interesting because one of the reasons that was successful is because we actually got our competitors to engage on Twitter. And so if you follow Twitter and if you follow the big wireless carriers, you would know that T-Mobile and Sprint like to engage a lot, especially with each other. But that AT&T and Verizon generally stay kind of quiet. And what we found when we did this DirecTV blitz was that AT&T and Verizon got into it with us. And so that kind of competition is always good for us because it's always letting our competitors' customers know that there's an alternative. So,
Jeanette?
So I think a good example of this from the agency side is with one of our biggest clients. Actually, it is our biggest client at Phelps Public Storage, and we are their digital agency of record and basically manage their entire digital presence for the brand. And it's driven by, this isn't PR, but a very robust paid search strategy that includes content, social media, and the team is constantly measuring and monitoring what's working and what isn't. And they have they're consistently over 95% occupied, all of their spaces. They have more than 2,500 in the country. And the team is constantly looking at how they can attribute that success. So they're looking at length of stay, move-ins, clicks on certain pieces of content on the various digital platforms that they use, and it's really an ongoing process of measurement, looking at all of those different tactics and how they're performing.
It's also so challenging, Bob, because you don't want to be out there all the time just talking about like, our new pricing plan today is cut your bill in half, or we're going to give you guys this, and we're going to give you that. So it's kind of this balancing act between putting out content that people are genuinely interested in, but then also weaving in, promotional messages.
Yeah, exactly. And just to give you guys some more tactical tools to use for measurement, I'm just going to list a few out that might be helpful for you personally if you have a small business. There's Hootsuite, which is a free tool. It's really great. You can set up, it's almost like, are you guys familiar with Hootsuite? HOOTSUITE. It's almost like a digital Excel sheet where you can create a tab for each of your social media platforms and monitor specific handles, specific hashtags. look at how engagement is going within those. Also, the platforms that are native to the social channels, so Facebook analytics, Twitter analytics, LinkedIn has an analytics program too. Also, Google Analytics. So using Google Analytics, you can look up who you have to create a campaign as if you were going to set up a paid search campaign. I mean, not a campaign, an account. But you can actually look at, like, you know, say selfie sticks is your company. You can look at what people are searching for around that topic, and you can find the keywords, and then you can use those keywords in your content and in your press materials, which will help drive more, hopefully, search around those topics.
Okay, can I just a bit? So just to summarize, what you're hearing here is that engagement and sales do not have a direct correlation. However, engagement tells you the pulse of what your audience is thinking about and how to direct and drive additional content to them. So real engagement means I'm connecting with an audience that I care about, that cares about what we're doing, and it's going to help shape what the continuing content is about. And the second thing that I heard in this panel just talk about is consistency. One and done is not how to do good PR, is not how to drive engagement, and is not how to drive sales. You say something, you say it again, you come back to the marketplace, and you have to have a repeated strategy of connecting both your message that's authentic, that connects, right? So engagement and monitoring is important. And secondarily, that you're going to repeat yourself and say, okay, here's how we want to get there again. Comments?
No, that was a great summary. And you're absolutely right. I mean, just reinforcing the message over and over and over again. And that was surprising to me when I first started, doing this, because it just seemed like, well, we already said that. But, when you're doing it on Twitter, when you're posting tweets, it is important to keep drumming away at that message. And then one of the things I wanted to go back to is this idea of relationships, because relationships are so critical, not just in traditional PR and our relationships with reporters, but also in digital. And, and it can start by easily tweeting to a reporter if you see an article that they write and it has something to do with say like there's an article on new technology and selfie sticks. It would make a lot of sense for your son to tweet that reporter and say, hey, I like that article and, I'd love to talk to you about new developments. And so what I'm finding is that relationships pay off digital and social media just as well as they did with traditional. And one of the things that we do to kind of break down that barrier, that computer screen, is at Sprint we'll have mixers, and we'll have information sessions, we'll have we do these speed dating sessions where bloggers can go to different tables and learn about our different products and services. But that is super because we get a chance to meet these bloggers and influencers on Twitter face to face, and then those relationships carry through, into the digital arena, and they pay off, just as you were commenting before. If you have a story that kind of relates to one of them, you've got that one-to-one connection, and you can use that.